Do you have it? Oh, yes. Okay, so let's start with Erwin's testimony. So Erwin has went to Senegal in Africa and made some sessions there. So he has some testimonies for us. So first testimony, a woman suffering from a chronic cough since a triple vaccination against COVID stopped coughing after a week of listening. She had tried to treat her cough with various drugs and protocols without success. Second testimonial, a man who had been suffering from sleep apnea for 3 months was able to sleep peacefully again after a week. It was his wife who pointed this out to him. And third testimonial, a man who had been suffering from pain in his left arm for several weeks saw his pain diminished after a few listenings. And most clients begin to feel a sense of well-being within a week. So what I find interesting in those testimonies is what Erwin told me is in Africa, it's very difficult to get some health practitioners for you. So rich people go to France and poor people got basically nothing. And this is one of the visions that I had with BioCoherence, with the ability to measure and to treat people remotely. If you can imagine that you have a sensor in a village and everybody could just use this sensor to get some remote assessments with a practitioner anywhere in the world, and then anybody could just play it on their own smartphone, which is fine because it's very accessible technology for countries like Africa or India or anywhere in the world where it's complicated to have access to modern medicine facilities. So I find it very nice. So thank you, Erwin. Any other good testimony you want to start with? Anybody?
Well, I should have some more of tomorrow in that I'm going to be playing some frequencies here in Lourdes for some people. So
Yeah.
The next call we have, we'll have some good testimonies from it.
Yeah, looking forward to hitting the whole of Lourdes with one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know?
kind of got my speaker and everything.
You should play that into the water.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the plan.
Oh yeah, definitely play that into the water. You don't have a recorder, do you?
No. What do you mean?
Oh, like something like your phone can record, right?
Yes, yes.
So where the Lord's water comes out, if you could record the sound of that water, you'd be picking up the frequencies of that.
Okay, I'll definitely do that.
That's interesting because I'm currently adding. It's still experimental, so I don't know if it will be released or not. But I'm adding a way to scan from within the app and to get the proper frequencies. So it would be with an audio sweep that would cancel the room. So there would be a first audio sweep to measure the room, and then you would use the audio sweep to measure anything that you put close to the audio frequency on microphone, to try and get the resonance frequencies of anything you could measure. And it could be used for voice, or it could be used for, I don't know, anything you will come up with. But the idea would be to try and extract the resonance frequencies, the proper resonance frequencies of any item you want to measure. So maybe we could try with this water and see if we can extract some specific frequencies from it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Great idea.
Yes, Dan.
Could the Muse 2 headset work for that in a room? I mean, I've used it to sense the frequencies of like trees and stuff. And you know, if the trees between 50 and 53, it's healthy. If it's
To
lower
my
than
knowledge,
that,
the Muse is an electroencephalogram. Is it? The Muse is an EEG, electroencephalogram.
it's the
Yes, so it's the same system as us, but they measure electrical activity in the brain, whereas we measure electrical activity in the whole body. So I don't think there is a particular interest of using this device instead of ours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
I know that
I'm not
the
sure
thumb
we will
sensor.
get more information specifically from this one.
Okay.
Jason.
Good morning.
Hey.
I was just I have an app that's just called Spectrometer that I use to measure frequencies.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple. I think there's a number of those. That's what you're talking about adding, right?
Yes, but it would be with audio. So yeah, so that you can do it with your smartphone or anything. Mm.
Yes,
It's the
yes,
same.
that's what it is.
All
It,
these electromagnetic measurement devices do the same. They do a sweep of all frequencies, and they measure how the antenna responds at the moment where
yeah,
they emit these particular frequencies, and they show a graph of the different frequencies
yeah,
that resonate with what they measure. Mm.
yes, that's the app. That's what this app does. It
Yeah.
just tells you what the sound levels are in the room, right?
Yeah, so my idea was to extend that to make a first sweep to measure the room so that you know what are the proper frequencies of the room, and then you can cancel it when you try to measure different objects after
Right.
that.
I have one of the
It's still experimental, so I will let you know.
I have one of the units that was made that was the original scanner for the essential oils from Young Living, that when they were measuring the frequencies.
Okay.
But I found that as time got on and more Wi-Fi and all that was in, it was kind of polluting without a Faraday cage.
Hmm.
And so there was no way on that older equipment to be able to cancel the
Yeah.
other frequencies that were coming in. So that's a really great idea, what you're thinking about, because
Hmm.
if you measure the room and then cancel the room out
Yes.
and
Hmm.
then get what's happening, that's absolutely the way to do it. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I think so. Yeah, and we would stick to audio anyway, so we would not be bothered by any RF interferences that could come from Wi-Fi or anything. So because it, more or less we have the very good feedback on our audio protocols, which are pure audio, and we have this study that shows that only audio frequencies can have dramatic biological effects. So my idea is that we should try and stick to audio. And if we can measure some specific frequencies into any solution, any, I don't know, essential oil or device or medicine, drugs, I don't know what, maybe the proper setup would be to have the microphone on one side and the speakers on the other side. I don't know. We have to make some tests, but I think it could be a very interesting idea so that we could add those specific frequencies into the list, into the test list. It would be a way to get the base frequencies of everything we want to test into the test list. One question from Kat to Erwin. So Erwin, so I'll just say it in French for your education. Erwin, est-ce que tu as utilisé des protocoles ou des stimulus ou des choses comme ça, ou est-ce que tu as juste utilisé les priorités automatiques? Voilà, la question de Kat, c'est est-ce que tu as rajouté des protocoles sur 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 ce que tu as fait pour les gens dont on a donné les témoignages? Ok, so maybe we'll have the answer later.
Allô,
Ah
tu
si, vas-y, ouais.
m'entends?
Ouais, vas-y, je te traduirai après. I will translate him after that.
Non, non, pour la plupart, j'ai juste utilisé par rapport aux priorités.
Ok. Donc,
J'ai fait
priorité
tout
automatique.
simplement, c'est ça.
Ok, so CAT, automatic priorities. He didn't dig into protocols or anything else. So that means it's also very good. We have a lot of validation of people using only the automatic priorities, which we have into the basic version when you don't want to dig into the scan, which is also a very good validation of the scanning and the priority selection process. Because if we find the proper problems and then we find the proper frequencies to have such interesting results in a few hours or a few weeks, it means that we are onto something. Okay, so let me just show you some things for today. I'm lost in my many screens. Yes, here. Okay, so first thing I wanted to show you the new protocol things. I don't know if you could dig into it already, but now when you are into the harmonic boost, you can add some stimulus. So we renamed the protocol to stimulus because protocols was more a word to explain the whole process that you can do for someone. So it was a bit confusing to just call the different curative frequencies that you could put on top of a structure. So now we have the white ones that are structures and the blue ones that are stimulus. And it's made clear here, when you click on here, you have structure resonances, which is, for instance, the large intestine meridian, and then you can embed some stimulus on top of that. So you have these different categories, and there is a new one that was missing, which is in program, which are the 3 that are currently selected. So you can just see the 3 that are currently selected. Then you have the related teams related by frequencies, the ones that are related to this scan with a positive evaluation, and so on and so on. But something that you will find into the new version is that you only see the ones that are related to this particular structure. So in this case, the large intestine meridian. These 2 are related to the large intestine meridian, but you can now show more to see the whole category with more items. So it's another way to find some items to add on top of it. And you can still, of course, search by keyword. But that way, if you go, for instance, to, I don't know, ATP, you will find some ATPs that are related to this meridian, but you can expand to show all the ATP programs, for instance. So another interesting things that you have.
Quick, Medrick.
Yes.
Medrick, could you explain the percentage again, real quick?
Yes.
The higher the green, the better for you.
Yes.
And then...
So the percentage is, for now, maybe it will change because I have some ideas to better evaluate the stimulus. But for now, the percentages are evaluated against the associated biomarkers with this stimulus. So it's not a perfect way, but it's a good way to see if this particular stimulus, which is associated with some emotions or meridians or organs, will have an effect on these different items. So this is how we calculate it. It's the same calculation that we have in the list tab. When you go to the list and you enter the protocols, you have a percentage. So it's the same that you find here. I am currently working on making a better assessment for that. So we might have a much better assessment that would directly come from the embedded frequencies that are part of these different stimulus, which is not yet the case. But if it works, I think it will be a much better way to have a proper evaluation and probably better recommendations on if the included frequencies are necessary or not for this particular person. But yes, this display is a function of the current open exploration. So it will change for everybody. The associated stimulus with the association between stimulus and between structures, so biomarkers, is always the same. So you will always find the same associated stimulus for one particular biomarker. But the evaluation, the percentage will change with each client. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the green means go.
Yes, the green means go.
And the red means you don't need it. It's not resident to your body.
Yes, more or less. But then again, as a therapist, you can, of course, do your own evaluation, and you can go with red ones if you find it interesting for this particular people, because it's still a tool. It doesn't replace you. Okay, so what I wanted to show you, because this is quite new, we have, in the latest version, we have some new programs that Christine did. So digestion, for instance, hair strength and regrowth. Please test this one. Irritable intestines, endometriosis. That is all new programs that she did. What I wanted to show you, I have to take one of mine, is that you can So modify the program, you add it to priorities, and now you can work on it. And when you are done working on it, you can just click here on replace priorities for eye stimulation, and it will save it back into your basic program. What I want to show you is that you now have access to the stimulus into the basic programs. So it means that if on this particular program that I'm working on for the eye stimulation, I want to work on the governor vessel, and I want to embed something related to the eyes. Okay, we have a lot. So we can embed a few frequencies. And that will now be part of our program. And you can see here, there is something, a little blue icon with a 3. It's very light. It should be a bit bigger maybe. So if I save it, you can see it has something with the 3 and with the blue. It means that it will be saved into the basic programs with the associated stimulus. So in fact, from this version on, you can build basic programs for generic use, but these basic programs can include some items that will enhance the structures. So until now, we only add the biomarkers to resonate, but now we can go further and we can add some stimulations. So if I go here and I just click on harmonic boost, you see now I have these 3 new items that can be included into the harmonic boost, and I can export it. There's also something new. If you make the MP3, when you play it in the app, nothing changes. But when you export it, we have added a little intro jingle with the same sound as the personal guide, but shorter. And the voice of the personal guide that will just say bioresonance.net. So now when you export an MP3, it will include the 10-second jingle at the beginning of the MP3 file. So you can start sharing them if you want. After the next update that will be made tomorrow, I think, you will be able to start sharing these files on social media if you want, because they will include the image of the app, but also the 10-second intro that reminds people where it comes from. So I think it could be a very good tool to give people a taste of what they can do with BioCoherence. Yes, Dan?
Thank you for this feature, Medrick. I played around with it last night, and I mean, everything worked other than the fact, when you bring up the screen and when you say make MP3, it does make it, but I was having 3, three of the, when you make the MP3, I was having, the program was displaying 3 of them. And it was kind of, well, which one do I choose? You click on it, says, please redo this file. You click on another one, please redo this file. And then finally you pick the end one or whatever. And, oh, this is the one that you get to save.
For the basic programs? For the basic programs?
Yes, I was messing around with the basic programs for eyes and emotional relaxation.
Okay, I think there is a bug with that because these programs, sorry, let's go back. I will show you. So by the way, this is a new presentation of the basic programs. So you can, when you click on it, it's much nicer. So if you click on a harmonic boost, okay, a little bit slow today. Okay, now you have this MP3 that is already pre-computed, and you can see on the top left, there is a little cloud, which means this MP3 is already computed and available to download from the cloud. So when you click on it, it will start downloading it and then playing it. But you are right. I think on certain programs there are some duplicates, or maybe it downloaded it on your device and there was a problem. So sometimes it's shown in 2 or 3 items, and only one is working. So this is a known bug that I have to fix. Usually, you should only have one like that, and you can directly share it or save it.
Yeah, I'm just adding what I think stimulus, I guess, to these basic programs for, I mean, whatever I do, even though I have plasma, it always starts off with sound. But when I'm broadcasting, on the plasma globes at my table, I'm not doing speakers because that would interfere with the person next to me if I was, doing Reiki, if they were doing Reiki or something. So I just broadcast plasma, and I was just adding protocols, or I don't know. Well, now you call it stimulus. I was adding stimulus from what I thought would work,
And we are trying to source a good bone conducting device, which you can get just on your near your skins and your ears, and that would be a good solution to have the frequencies without disturbing everybody. And these devices also don't block your normal ears, so you can just go on and listen to people around you. You are not into a cocoon; it's just adding some additional layer of information on top of what you are doing currently. So it would be another way to do it. And it would include an autonomous MP3 player. So you could upload the tracks on this device and just close the app. It would work by itself.
Excuse me. I have one of those, and strangely, people can hear it, though. You still hear it around you. So I had it on because my son bought me one, and my wife was going, "What is that strange sound? It's how come you can hear it? It's supposed to be in my bone."
Yes, no, it's also in audio a little bit. Yes, but you can.
It's a little bit in audio.
Yeah, you can just put it at a lower power.
Volume.
Yeah.
Okay, it still works at a lower volume.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing you just mentioned, you mentioned that it was a little slow today. Well, I found it was a little slow the last couple of days. I was trying to get a new person to do a scan, and it was really like waited 5-10 seconds for each command somehow. I don't know. Is that from your server, or is that my device?
Okay, so the app doesn't connect to the server except to exchange some files, but everything is happening locally.
Okay.
I must stress that again. You don't need an internet connection to do your scans.
Right.
You don't need an internet connection to create the files. You only need an internet connection to create a new customer, a new client, or to upload or download, so synchronize explorations or send MP3s or things like that. But you don't need, nothing is happening on our server except downloading some basic stuff. So if you had such an experience, I think just relaunching the app would be okay.
Yeah, because I also got stuck in the loop because I had my own scan that I did for myself, and it wasn't giving when I said new scan. It came back into my own and said it was trying to do my 21-day scan.
Okay, so that's a feature, not a bug.
I couldn't get out of it.
Okay, so that's a feature. That's not a bug. When you on the home page and you click on New Scan, if you are on your own account and you have a currently open 21-day session, it will prompt you to add a reevaluation to your session instead of creating a new one. But you still have a button to create a new one. But it means that yes, you have a button to either continue your 21-day by doing a reevaluation or starting a new scan. But what it means is that you should have changed the client to your son before clicking on new scan. So
I couldn't. That's what I'm saying. When the only thing that was available to me was there you go. I go to the purple one there, right?
Okay, so if you click on new record, it will prompt you to probably it will be the same for me. No, okay.
Yeah,
I don't have one. So if you have to choose a contact before you start that, and either create a one for your son or choose him in the list if he's already there.
Okay, it was someone else. It was a new person that
Yes, so
I've never done
you
this.
just click on plus and you create a new account.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's the piece. I kept going on new record at the bottom, and it kept going into my own. Okay.
Okay, so maybe what I could do when you click on new record and it's your own, I could add a new button to create a new record for me or create a new record for a new contact. And at that point,
that would be really useful for me. I don't know if anyone else had that trouble.
Anyway, if you had this trouble, it means that someone else could have it. So it's
okay. Thank you. Especially when you're in the loop with your 21-day program. Yes. Right. Okay.
Okay, yes. Good idea.
Okay, thank you.
A thing about that too, that would be nice to have that button, and how you just said everything's off the server. I do find sometimes I have a little glitch when I'm making a new contact.
Yes.
And I try and record, and that must be that it's sending it to the server though. But a lot of times I'll have to go back and restart that contact. Like it won't just go. Okay. So that may be something. If it happens again, I'll try and send a ticket. But if you want to look at that just may be a little bit of a glitch.
Yeah. Anyway, I was telling myself that I should add a way to work entirely offline. And when you create a new contact, it could be created locally on your system. And when you are online, it would create it somewhere else. But we have a difficulty in that we have to get the account number of this contact. And this is only done on the server. So
yeah. But so a lot of times it'll drop. I'll make the contact and I'll start to record, and I have to do it twice. So that to new people, that might be like a deterrent. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I just work around it because it's always been that way since the beginning. But that may be something just to like fine tune.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just actually very quickly, Kat had a question.
Yes.
When you do a scan, is it automatically saved to the cloud, or you have to save it, right?
Yes, you have to save it. So when you are on the Pro, I think we made a distinction. I think it's in your settings. Let me. Is it in the settings? Default sharing option. Privacy.
I've seen that too with her. Like since I've clicked save, it seems like that is the default unless you unclick it.
Yes, I'm not entirely sure. It should be an option in privacy to save automatically to the cloud, but maybe it's still on my to-do list. So I will check and answer about that. I think for the Me version, it saves to the cloud if you are the client of a practitioner, and for the Pro, it defaults to your system unless you click on the bottom right to save it to the cloud. But I had somewhere in my list that it should be an option if you want to save it systematically to the cloud.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I will show you a feature that is not yet live, so it will be in the next beta for tomorrow probably. And that was at a request of Leon that is not here, sadly, but he will probably look at the recording. So let me just open a file and share my screen, and you can see immediately something new, which is in progress here. Okay, so the request was to have a kind of one image that would resume the whole exploration, so that you can start somewhere with your clients and to say, okay, this is your average way of, this is the average values of this exploration. And it started with prevalence, but prevalence as just a set of numbers. So what I did into this next version is add this preview of prevalence, which I will explain now. Okay, so this is an average of the whole recording. So my recording has 5 parts. And I can go through these different parts. I have a number of items in these different states. So for instance, I have a lot of resources 927. I have not a lot of low energy. The second one is in adaptation, okay? And you can see that here with this histogram. And this histogram shows the number of biomarkers in the whole recording, so about 1,600 biomarkers. The number of biomarkers in the different states that you can have, so agitation and energy. So you see, for instance, in this particular recording, I have a very high number of biomarkers in the highest state of energy and a very high number of biomarkers in the second state of agitation, which means not the lowest, but the second lowest. And when you triangulate the average of all the agitation and all the energy, you get this point. And so this point will change. It could be anywhere on the screen. And this is because most of the mass of the different biomarkers is on this line. And so the average of this curve, it's like a Gauss curve in this case, the average is here. What is interesting is that you can see the different parts. So each part is a different reevaluation, and you can see the last one, the one before, and you see this dot is moving. The one before, and now we were in a slightly more agitated state, which means that we are in adaptation. You see the petals are changing size. So in this one, the adaptation petal is a little bit bigger because the size of the petal is the same as the number that you see here. Okay. And you see the history of the different states. So if you start with the first one, it was here. The second one, it reminds you that the first one was here and the second one is here. The third one, you still have the path, like little pebbles that you let on your path, to say, okay, I was here last time. Now I'm going through here, and I'm a little bit back to more calm, and again a little bit better. So you can see the history somehow of the different scans.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should, so on this one, it's not very telling because it stays more or less in the same zone. But if you have some dramatic effects, for instance, going from strained to resource with a clear path on it, I think it should give you some very interesting information. And it could also be the basis of some things that you want to share or to boast about. Like, hey, look at my flower. After 21 days, I was here and I went here. So I'm thinking on a way of making it easy to understand and easy to share if people want to show their progress across their 21-day program. And then you have the other averages. So the average attention, average intention. So this is the average on all biomarkers. Average number of threads, strengths, reach, horizon, number of links. And again, it will change each time. So you see, for instance, this one started coherence, then was dispersed and loose control and chaotic. Again, back on average, which is better, and a little bit dispersed. Okay, so this again maybe could be displayed in a curve or something like that, but could give you some information on the different reevaluations.
So how does that play button up there work then? Because it doesn't seem... Yeah,
not in this particular screen, so maybe it should be removed in this screen. The play button could be used on almost any other screens on biomarkers, so on dynamics, on polygraph. So let's compute it, okay? So I will click here. So all these screens that are great now need to rebuild the whole pulse data that is not stored with the file because it's very heavy. So when you click on it, just know that it will take maybe 1 minute to compute, and you can see here on top the progression of all the bits that are computed one by one, so that we can have the curves. So when you are on a screen that displays any information on the level of each bit, you can click on play, and you can move into the whole recording to see what happens at different parts. So you will still have the 5 different parts that are the 5 reevaluations. You have here some lines that are different events that you can mark during the recording. You know that when you are doing a recording, you have a little stopwatch on the bottom of the recording, and if you click on it, it will just store the fact that something that has happened at this particular moment when you are doing the measurements. And so maybe it could be a useful information for you. Okay, and now let's go back to the polygraph. And I have a new bug. It should be not great. Okay, anyway. And so now you can just play into the recording and see the different parts. So when you click on play, it will be only on screens that show you that. So you don't have it usually on the other parts. It's only on the biomarker.
Okay.
So you have now the same on progress because it makes sense to have it here. So again, on progress, you have the different flowers of the different reevaluations, and you have the curves. I think I have crashed my app. I always do the mistake to show you the development app, which is still a little bit buggy. So let's just start it again. Okay. So this is the new loading screen because we need something like 10 seconds to compute everything. I found that in 10 seconds, you have time to put a little bit of information for you or a nice quote. If you have interesting quotes that you want me to put on the loading screen, just send them by email so that I can integrate them. So let's go back to progress. Okay, so you still have the same flower here. And the curves. So let's open this. Yes, okay, sorry. So again, you have your 5 parts, and you can click on one part to see the related information. So you see the different repartition of the biomarkers in these different parts. And now you can see the detail of all the biomarkers that you have in your list. So the priorities, for instance, resources and so on, you can see the detail. But this is meant to be a kind of overview of what happens between the first and the second part. The new thing I wanted to show you is that now you have a little edit button here, and you can give a name to the section, which is useful. So, one would be initial, for instance. The second would be the first reevaluation, and you can just change the name here to say, for instance, after giving this kind of treatment, for instance, you just write what you did and you do a reevaluation so that you can know that this is, for instance, the state that the client came into your office, and this is the state after 1 hour of session, for instance, and this is the state after 3 days, and you can just name it and call it after 3 days so that you have a very clear title here in your different sections. Again, the idea of these different reevaluations is to find patterns that are evolving or that are blocking into your clients to see how to identify the most interesting things and to adapt the different programs. So the new function here is to give a name to this particular part, and you still can give a comment by clicking here on the little comment icon that would pop up a new screen to record the comment.
And so would we do a new recording for each one of those?
Yes, you can click on new recording and it will prompt you to do a new reevaluation, but you can also click, if you are on this screen, you can click on the top right here to just add a new part, and it will directly record a new evaluation and add a six part after the recording.
Okay, so when it said like on the third day, that would be the third time we would measure them?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. I was just checking.
For now, I do not recommend doing a reevaluation every day because it will be too much information for you.
Yeah.
I think if at the end you have about, I don't know, 5 to 7 reevaluations, it's enough to get a sense of what has happened during the 21-day session, or if you see your client every month, for instance. So if you have one initial recording and then one reevaluation every week, and then maybe a final one, it will make 5 or 6 columns and some things that you can easily analyze and see if there are some trends or some things are blocked and do not evolve, or some things are really going up and you can just say that, okay, this one has been a good success, but for this one, maybe we should now work a little bit more on it. That's the point. The point of the reevaluations is that on the next appointment with your clients, you have some debriefing information to analyze, and you can know what has a good impact on him or what needs more work. So I would say one reevaluation per week would be enough for you. That might change if we release one day new functions, but right now I think it's enough because it's for your understanding. If we start having files with like 30 reevaluations, maybe we will need a way to chop them and to see only the, I don't know, 5 most important ones, because if you have 30 columns, you cannot understand really what is going on.
Be too much information.
Yeah. Yes, Dan. The idea is to have a way to show to your clients in one image a kind of overview of the whole session, and then when he does reevaluation, an overview of how the progress is going on. And I'm still scratching my head on how to make that so simple that people want to share this on Facebook. But right now it's a bit complicated because when you share the flower on Facebook, it has a lot of information and it's not self-explanatory. So we still have to make something even more simpler to. But my idea is that if people want to boast and to say, okay, look, my health has gone from, I don't know, 43 to 72 in 3 weeks, thanks to my program. And that would be the best to get some viral elements about BioCoherence. But it must be something very simple. So maybe just one figure at the end, like your health is currently at that percentage. If we can do something so simple at the end, it would be probably the best way to make something simple to share.
You talk about the flowers in the explanation in the PDF.
Yeah.
I was meant to ask you before, the numbers are not graphically linked to the leaves, so it's very difficult. I have to go back and forth when I'm showing it to somebody. I don't remember that one is enhancing, two is. Could you graphically put it so that the symbol of the leaf is beside each of the 9 or
That's
8
exactly
leaves?
Yes, it's exactly what we have now. If I can show you,
Show me.
and it will be included into the report. That's what I wanted to do before releasing this. But when you see that,
Yeah.
you have the names on the side of each leaf.
Oh, I can't see from here. I see. Okay, good.
So this one, but probably without the 2 bars because it makes too much information. Probably only the flower will be integrated into the report as the introduction of the report with the dot.
Yeah, and also the number. You can put the number with the name. I can't see. Is it there? Didn't it have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
No, we could.
Okay, I thought that was referred to somewhere else by number,
No,
not
it's
by
just no. In fact, maybe we should remove the number from the report because it was just a way to make a list. But I see
Okay,
it's more confusing than explaining. So maybe it should just
yeah.
be dots and not numbers.
Well, the value of number is you get a sense of progression, like you know that the higher number has more energy or
Yes, but
is a better.
it's not exactly true. So maybe it's
No, it's
yeah.
true. It goes up and down. You're right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe I should just remove the numbers.
Maybe. Yeah. Last question. If I did a scan when it was a previous version and I'm opening it in the new version,
Yeah.
does it add information? Does it add new analysis, or I have to redo the scan
No, it
after the
can.
new version?
It can. The only thing you have to do. So normally, when you open a new version, it will automatically recompute because with the file we store the version it has been computed in, and if it's not the same version, it will force a recomputing. But you always have here, when you click on this little arrow, you always have the different steps of computing that are accessible. So you can recompute from scratch, or you can just
Oh,
compute biomarkers, or just the links, or the priorities, or the resources. So usually you want to just recompute from scratch, and if you do that, you have to wait maybe 1 or 2 minutes, but you are sure that everything is up to date with the latest algorithms.
mhm. The other thing I wanted to ask you is I use the AI helpers
Okay.
for the first time recently, and it said, "Do you want to have information?" And it's something about the eye. So it asked me a bunch of questions, and then it says, "Do you want to integrate this into your harmonic boost and your guide?" And I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
And then the new version ended up being exactly the same amount of time, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So I thought maybe it didn't integrate. Would it not change the length or the frequency output if I integrated all this information?
It should. Was it the length into the app or the length of the export, of the MP3 export?
The length of the export of the MP3.
Yes. Okay. So that's tricky because the length of the export is limited in time. When you do the export, it's shorter than when you do it into the app.
Oh, okay.
So maybe
Okay.
it added some new programs into your harmonic boost. But if you want the full length harmonic boost, you have to play it from the app.
Okay, got it. Well, I was just enjoying, it's so easy to find it in my, the MP3. I play it and I don't, otherwise I have
Yes.
to get into the app and connect the headphones, so
Yeah.
it's still useful, but it's better to use from the app, is what you're saying.
When you use it from the app, you have all the frequencies in full length. When we do the MP3 export, we had to reduce the length of the MP3 export so that the app wouldn't crash.
Oh, okay.
So it's a technical limitation that we cannot export more than 10 or 20 minutes, depending on the systems. So we had to limit the duration of the MP3s. And frankly, it was discussed of allowing this export to be longer if the systems allow it. But ultimately, we decided that it's probably better if you have more value in using the app than in just exporting the MP3. So what we have decided is we will further enhance the app player so that it plays pre-computed files as we do on the personal guide, so that it works on every system. Because right now, when you play the harmonic boost, it generates the frequencies in real time.
Oh,
And on some systems, it could be a little bit too demanding. So
I see.
on some low-end systems, you could have quackling sounds or sounds that just stop, and so we fixed it for the personal guide, but not yet for the real-time harmonic boost. We will have some interesting things with the real-time harmonic boosts in regards to measuring your biofeedback, for instance, or things like that. It's not yet ready, but there will be some additional benefits of playing it from within the app than playing just the MP3.
So when I go into the harmonic boost in the app,
yes,
I have the two boxes, play or make MP3.
Yes,
But
exactly.
it also gives me the list of all the particular aspects that it's creating a frequency.
Yes.
And then I can click on the right, there's a little button that says add or don't add.
Yes.
So if I want to make sure that I have specific ones, maybe I can just put the ones that have add and then export it. And then I would be sure to have the most important frequencies, no?
Okay, so anyway, you have all the frequencies that are on this page. It's just that we, for instance, let's just share this one. So you see that my real-time boost would be 1 hour, 1 minute, and 28 seconds.
Right.
Which is not possible to export. So if I click on make MP3, it will make an MP3 that is, for instance, 10 or 20 minutes, according to the different systems. But in fact, it will play everything. It will not play the first 3 and cut it. That's not what's happening. It will play everything, but this one, instead of being 60 seconds, it will be 20 seconds, for instance.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
This one, instead of being 100 seconds, it will be 30 seconds. So it's just making everything a little bit shorter, but all the frequencies will be there in your export.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Because if you remove something from here, it will remove it from your program and save it like that. So it will be lost from your program. Okay. So I would not advise to remove things like that, because it will just remove it from your whole program.
Right. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So look forward for further enhancements to this kind of overview flower before we release it. So I will probably release the first version tomorrow with more or less what you saw here and an integration to the reports so that you can start playing with it and tell me if it's useful for you. I'm not still entirely sure that we went to the end of this ID, so it can probably be enhanced. But I think Leon's suggestion was very good to try and have something you can directly start with your customer, and to say, okay, so this is your global flower. These are the different masses of the different petals. So you have big petals, you have weaker petals, and these different petals have names, so you know exactly what they refer to. And then if you continue on prevalence, you can still dig on it. Some last details I want to show you on prevalence, which can be useful. So when you are on prevalence, it will compute, of course. And you have here some numbers. And I've added this because it means that these numbers are related to the global recording. So if you go to the third part, for instance, the flower will change, but not these numbers. Okay? This is still the numbers related to the global. So that's why if you go to this one, okay, let's see. And you click on, I don't know, static, you might find some items that are no more static, because this is the 13 items that were static in global, but now I am not in global, I am in the secondary evaluation that is maybe 1 week after. So if I click on it, I have one that is stabilizing, one that is stabilizing. Okay, so this is actually interesting because you start from your global evaluation and then you change, and you can see that everywhere that were every item that were static in your first assessments, some have now moved, and you can precisely know which one have moved. Again, if you go to low energy, this one has moved a little bit. If you go to strained, and so on and so on, you can see, for instance, kidneys has gone from strained to flexible, which is an interesting information. And if you want to know the numbers for the currents, so you want to start from the evaluation of 1 week after, for instance, you just click here on recompute. And now you have the number of items for this second part. So you can start from this. And of course, here, all are strained because you are still in the same. But if you change, you can maybe see that something will change. So not this one.
A very long second reevaluation title.
Yes. Okay, so again, it could be interesting for you to try and assess what happens, particularly, I would say, before and after you do some healing session. So any kind of healing session, it could be a massage, it could be something energetic, it could be frequencies, it could be anything you do, and you do your initial evaluation, and then you do a reevaluation, and you compare what happens before and after, and you can see where your healing modalities have had particular effects and what is still blocking. So I think that kind of usage could be particularly powerful to understand what is happening in your client before and after you do something particular. I would, for instance, advise to do a recording and then to go meditate a little bit or walk barefoot in nature and go back and do another measurement and see what's happening. It should be pretty dramatic.
Is Jason there? Jason, are you there?
But he was driving, so maybe he cannot talk.
Okay. No, because we talked about this device that he was using.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
I was going to review how it would be useful to evaluate certain foods or whatever. Do you remember how that worked? Is this complementary to your program, or it's just a completely separate thing?
I think it will be an excellent question for next week when Jason will not be driving.
Okay.
I'm not driving anymore.
Okay, great.
Hey, Jason. So I was going to ask you, what was the main purpose of this, other than making my hand strong?
So, in a simple explanation, I use assessments of various aspects of our nervous system. Strength is one of them. Balance is another one. Vision is another one. Those are three very common ones. Range of motion is another. And typically the way that we understand the brain and nervous system to work is that everything is integrated. So when you improve something, you can see an improvement in a lot of systems. We typically look at things on the left and the right side of the body. And so when I do something like play a frequency, I will assess strength on my left and right side first. And then I'll play a particular frequency for something. And then I'll look if I had a secondary improvement to anything that I'm trying to improve. So obviously, if you're playing a frequency, let's say you're trying to play something for digestion or for anxiety or something unrelated to strength, I would look for an improvement in whatever symptomatic item I'm trying to improve with the frequency, and then I would look for a secondary update to my nervous system and my balance or my strength or my vision. These are all things that kind of improve. We have an analogy called the threat bucket. And in your threat bucket, everything goes. So whether it's emotional, whether it's cognitive, whether it's physical, and sometimes you can't always directly affect what it is that you're working on. Say I have a knee problem and I've done a lot of rehab on that knee, but I want to keep doing other things to improve, my knee. I might assess my vision. I might assess my range of motion on the opposite side of my body, and then do some rehab to some other aspect of my system, see if I can remove a little more threat. And oftentimes I'll get a greater improvement in my knee or whatever other particular item I'm trying to improve.
So let's say somebody's allergic to peanuts, for example. Would this be able to, like, no peanuts around, he uses this, then he holds the peanut, and it should be less strength, right?
So that is typically considered an applied kinesiology type of assessment. So I think that I think that there are useful aspects to that. Usually, if I'm going to do something along those lines, I want to either smell it or taste it to have more of a biochemical interaction with my system. Obviously, if you're allergic to peanuts, that might be not a good thing. But I think that there are some value to the energetic aspects of assessment like that. Again, and then the neurology of our beliefs also play into a lot of things. So we are very complicated in that sense. But that's a little more of an applied kinesiology type of assessment. It's a little bit different than how I typically use things. If I'm doing, let's say I'm testing strength on my right side, Frederick, I'm looking to see if I can improve the left side of my cognitive function in some way, and see how that correlates to strength of voluntary action on my right side. So I think it can be used in a lot of sense, just to see if you have a secondary assessment. I like to use things like that because when I go back through and I look at a scan and I see if something improved that I was trying to work on in my scan, I also try and test it somehow in my body. So the strength dynamometer is great because a lot of people like to see some other aspect of objective result, and they also like to feel stronger. So if you can demonstrate that you've played a frequency and then you have some improvement on strength, that's a great thing. But yes, you could use it in the way that you are talking about, I believe.
I'm trying a new function.
Okay, thank you.
So you can click here. Does that make sense to you? And you can, okay, so that's crazy. I will remove me.
What was that?
Was it good? I don't know. You can just add some journal entries directly from the homepage, for instance, and you can enter some metrics. So what I get from you, Jason, you can enter finger strength, right? Maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
Probably in pounds for you, but anyway. And so once you have created it, you can play your frequency, do your test, and just enter a new value. And you say after frequency ZZZ, okay. And you play another frequency, and now you say it's 28, and you say after frequency TTT, and so on. And you will find all of this information then in progress. So that's a useful way to track all these values, even if you do one every 2 minutes, or I don't know what. And in the next version, I plan to do a graph of everything that happens during your 21-day meditation on a time graph, be it reevaluations or journal entries or the evaluations of the different curves, so that you have everything on a timeline, which I think would be very useful.
That is fantastic. Because I'm on my phone, it's very hard for me to see smaller details right now.
Yeah.
When you added that, would that be something that I I always have to fill in what I'm adding, or can you create a value that you can go back to and open up on a regular basis? Can I open that and find strength
Okay,
for
so
left and right?
yes, so when you click on this little icon,
Yes.
you can add some values here, and when you created them, it will be proposed to you for your next clients. So it could be automatic. Once you enter it, you should have it proposed as your history. Okay, and you can also go back to edit former entry. So this is the first
And
entry at 5:09, and this is another entry a few seconds after that. Okay, and then you go to progress. And in progress, you will find, I don't know why it's a little bit long on my working device. You will find here journal, and you will find all your entries with a curve. So if you click on journal, you see the different entries that you can have with a curve. But right now, this curve is not related to the other metrics that we can have in the app. So that's why I want to mix one giant curve in a time manner. So from beginning to the end, that would also show your different revaluations and the different values of your journal entries.
that's fantastic. The only other thing I would ask, and I don't know if this is beyond ability, but would it be possible to if I'm assessing someone's balance, I can just give it a score, but would it ever be possible to take a short video clip to, actually show that? Or maybe I use gait a lot in assessment. So, there again, that's going to be one of the main things that after I play a frequency, or before I play a frequency, I would take a gait video to see how they're walking, because you can see so many things going on with the nervous system in gait. And then after you apply a stimulus like a frequency, you would be able to take another quick video of that gait. Would that be
Yes, but
something that could be correlated
I
in,
don't
or
think
is
so,
that?
because the only solution I would see is that if we send the video to an AI to assess a score, I think it's very complicated. So
Yes.
I think you should just give a rate on 1 to 10, for instance.
Yes.
So when you create a new entry, you can just click on the little pencil here to create a new metric, and
Yes.
and you would say walking score, I don't know, 1 to 10, for instance, and
Yes.
you just leave it blank. You add it to your track list, and now you do your test, and you say, okay, this one is an 8.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then you can write in the details about what you see down below there.
Yes, you can
Thank
you can
you.
say, okay, yes, some remarks here anyway.
Yes.
And that will be just some way to remember what you did, and you will find it here directly into your log.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
But now, so I have an 8, so I have only 1 dot. But if I add another entry, so for this one, for instance, I would go to 9, and finger strengths, I would go to 35, and some data. Okay. And now I have an update on my curves.
Yes.
But
Fantastic.
again, the idea would be to have only one, which that would make sense in a timely manner, so that you can have a real history from left to right of everything that happened with your particular customer.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Thank you.
I think it could be really useful. Yes.
So what about in that same screen, when you have more than one part and you're going through progression, are the calculations from part 1 to part 2 to part 3,
Yes.
when those show up on the screen, the biomarkers, are those auto arranged? Like you can do it when you're going into priorities, or and then
Yes. So if this is a file that you have on your own system, everything will be pre-calculated. Each time you do a reevaluation, it will calculate and save it. If this is a file that you downloaded from your client, for instance, you might need to recalculate everything. And for that, you have a useful way to do it. If you go to progress, it should be somewhere more obvious, but this exists. If you go to progress, you wait for the curves and you click on this little item here. So let's open the curves. If I click on this little item, I have now a button that is called recompute all sections. It will take a few minutes. That's what I said. This can be quite long. It will take a few minutes, but it will recalculate everything for every reevaluation. And the point of the reevaluation is that you can use any screens and compare them like that when it's computed. You can compare the different values, screen to screen or the global. Okay, so I should compute them entirely to have these different values, but once it's computed, I can compare them before and after with every screen. So if you go to energy, you can compare, I don't know, the chakras, for instance, from one recording to another one, to another one. Okay, so you see this will change with every reevaluation.
Well, that is a change, and that is visual, and that's very good, and that's helpful when the client's sitting in front of me. And even if it's remote, I guess. But what I was asking is, or if it's not possible, how can I use an AI to do this? In other words, what I want to see is the change gradient, right? But auto arrange. So, if I'm focusing on, we'll just say energy, right? Okay. And then I want to see the change gradient. Obviously, I can see it on the screen up there, but when it pulls up the curves.
Yes. If you have it on any biomarker, the curves that you have on curves. Okay. Let's see on a biomarker. Let's see if I understand correctly what you mean. If you open, sorry. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's open any biomarker and the bladder meridian. Here you have this curve. Is that what you are looking for?
Well, yeah, and so the curve basically, I know I'm pointing to a screen that nobody can see, but yeah, what you're doing right there, so that right where the arrow, where your pointer is now, that's below the 5 part, so that shows the progression. That's what I was asking.
Yes.
The change, yeah, that's the change gradient. That's what I was asking. So I can show that to somebody. Here we're looking at it because there's a man I just gave a scan to, and it's not so much him. His brother's using him, but he's just got back from China. He's studied 8 to 10 years of Chinese medicine, and he's looking at wanting to get biocoherence. He just doesn't know how he's going to incorporate it. And really what I want to do is, he can use me as a guinea pig because I love acupuncture, but or even with Chinese medicinal massage, whatever. But I want to be able to show him that because I've already taken this to my acupuncturist, and Pei says, well, yeah, that's nice, but I'm already doing that, right? She doesn't see how it's going to change, other than she may have a bad day, and maybe these 3 fingers right here, maybe they're not connected really well, right? But biocoherence is always connected, right?
Yes, and you have so many things in so many ways in which biocoherence can help. It can help remotely. So if their clients are not here, they can still help them. It can help by doing the harmonic boost several times at home. So it will reinforce what they do in their sessions. It can help by helping the assessment. And so there are many ways to complement what a TCM practitioner can do.
Yes. Or even just like with Jason for doing physical therapy or something. I mean, it's if you can show the change gradient with metrics that are they medical? Well, I don't know. They probably will be in the future, but are they right now? Well, yeah, we're still having to give testimonies and alternative data, but yeah, it's medical.
Yes, Jason?
Yes, actually, there's a couple of questions, and just kind of right where you are, you brought me back to something I've been meaning to ask for a while. So on the Meridian screen, when you're visualizing that, there is a visual of, if I recall how it's set up, I think it's primary. It's the right side of the body. You have an anterior view of the right side. You have a posterior view of the right side, but you cannot see what's going on the left.
No, because I don't have laterality on the meridians.
Okay.
So right now, the information that is displayed is not lateralized. So it's the same for left and right. Well, in fact, I have some information, but I'm not showing it. I'm not separating it. It's true that it could be done at some point. It would be
Because even moving to the points, obviously, when you're on the points and when you're on the meridians, you see particular things, and the question is at least in the way that I do things, we look at left and right side because they're often not the same.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Chinese medicine practitioner, but that was a question that a colleague of mine had.
It reminds me that I have, in fact, some information on laterality, but this is not something that we use yet because I was not entirely sure of it. So maybe one day we could add some lateral information on the points, but right now it's not computed. Well, it's computed but not displayed.
Okay.
With the points on acupuncture, right? Excuse me, Jason. You've got the little red dot, then you've got a little red dot inside of a circle, and you got a big red dot. Same with the greens. What does that mean? What is that explained? What's the value of those?
Okay, so this one, it will show differently. So on iOS, on Mac, and so on, it's a full circle, and I think on Windows it's a dot and a circle. But anyway, it's the same information. The size of the dot is related to the energy, and the way it moves is related to entropy, so to agitation. Is that your question?
Yeah, kind of. I'll have to. Yeah, I'm not. So the vibration of it moving is the agitation level.
Yes. So when you click on a particular point, you have the energy on the left. So this is very high, and you have the agitation from very calm to very agitated. And so this scale will dictate the size of the point, and this scale will dictate how much it vibrates.
And then there's some in red.
And when it's red, it's negative. So let's go back to, there was one, sorry, points. I don't have a lot of negative ones.
Maybe all the red ones are on your left side.
The points have a special scale here where the 0 is in the middle. Okay. Most of the biomarkers have a scale from 0 to 10. But this one has, in fact, a scale from +5 to 0 to -5. And this one is in the negative zone. Because of the way acupuncture points work, where they can be in excess or they can be in emptiness. So for them, we do an assessment which is zero-based and can be positive or negative.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So in Touch for Health, they actually, like if you're locked up on your left side, they'll find that muscle group on the right side and turn the muscle back on. And the same thing goes with some of the massage stuff. It says that when your shoulders on the right side are all screwed up, the femur on the left, when you massage those muscles and open up the left femur, the shoulder will calm down.
Yes,
so,
mirror zones. You mean you're talking about mirror zones?
Yeah. And so So is there a way to, because right now we're just seeing it all in those acupuncture points,
Yes.
but are the acupuncture points here tied to the ones in the left thigh?
Yes,
So
that's a very good question. And at one point, I wanted to work geographically with the acupuncture points and to divide them by zones. That's something that is on my 1,000 ideas list. So maybe it would be interesting to group them by superficial zone, and to get assessments on a kind of geographical map like that. But as to work on mirror zones, I know it's interesting, but I don't have yet an idea on how to implement it in the app. So maybe that's something we can discuss about.
So I took a Tongren, which is remote acupuncture, where you're actually using a doll as a surrogate, and you can actually tap on people remotely, and it works in that same kind of way. So if you're working on the meridians, like on the shoulders and on the spines or on the kidneys, on the bottom of the feet and stuff like that, you can feel the energy, you can feel the chi moving on people when doing that. And if they're sitting there, a lot of times they can start feeling it and you're not even touching them. So if the meridians are the same thing, because we're using energy with the frequencies, if we know what the frequencies to those are, there's got to be a way to trigger what that stuff is. So that's what I'm saying. Somewhere between that right left stuff might be something to look into a little deeper to see down the road, not immediately. You don't have to stay up tonight and fix it tomorrow. It's like, but it seems like if that stuff is working too, it's a really good add-on to what is already happening here that can open the pathways up maybe quicker.
Okay. Anyway, there are so many things we can add to the app that we had to start somewhere, but we won't stop here. Jason, do you want to wrap it up? Because we are already at 1 hour and a half. So
Just before, quick technical question.
Okay, two then.
What? Okay, sorry. So I did what we said. I redid the harmonic boost, and it came up to almost the same time as playing it when I exported it to the MP3.
Yeah.
But I don't see a button to export anymore. I had to download it into my hard drive and then send it from there.
No, to export it? You don't have the button to export it?
Well, I'm just in it right now, and it says on the left it says play, and on the right it says make MP3.
Yes.
And now it says complete, but there's no button to export. Is it just me or?
So maybe it's a bug. In that case, go back to the homepage and click again on Harmonic Boost, and it should be there. If it's a bug. Jason?
Okay.
Yeah, so I just had going back to my initial question. I've been trying to open up the harmonic boost for a program that I built, and the guide will open up, but the harmonic boost just shows a blank screen, and actually the MP3 and the activation for the boost is just blurred out. I just updated my device and I have the new update. So I don't know if I was trying to create a new program here to just see if it would work with the new program.
It looks like you don't have a license anymore. Maybe.
Okay. Well,
we can check that and extend your trial license.
Okay. The other couple of things, there in looking through some of the things that I'm trying to build with the program, for instance, I find a couple of cranial nerves like trigeminal, but I can't find all the cranial nerves. For instance, like vagus or
yes, the vagus is badly missing.
Yeah, and
what I did is I implemented a lot of information that I had, knowing that some information was still missing. So there are some biomarkers that we still have to investigate and add. And to be honest, there will be at some point a very massive update with something like, I don't know, maybe 3,000 new biomarkers that would come as an extension to refine in certain subsystems. Because I think we already have maybe too much information in the main system with 1,500 biomarkers. So at one point, there will be a feature to zoom into a system and to compute new biomarkers at this stage. And when we have that, we will probably have every nerve and subnerves and so on. So you will be happy.
Yes, cranial nerves, and I can find some peripheral nerves as well.
Yeah.
The other detail that I wanted to mention is that in relation to the left and right and the upper and lower coordination, you can look up some details if anybody's interested from a neurological standpoint. Is called intralimb joint coupling. So you can find that, and there is a lot of application of acting on the opposite limb, the opposite joint. I wanted to ask if I had answered Frederick's question. Hopefully. So I don't know if I answered your question, Frederick, but I hope that I provided something useful. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Frederick, if you still have some technical issues, maybe we will just see it face to face with Steven or anything. Okay. Okay, let's stop here.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm stopping the recording.